It's Easter Sunday and the Ardennes Classics week begins somewhat confusingly with Amstel Gold in the Limburg province of the Netherlands. A 256-kilometre mammoth of a race with a monument-style parcours and a start list of star riders to match. For the first time in 9 years, the iconic Cowberg will be the final climbing challenge. My name is Declan Quigley and you're very welcome to the highlights of Amstel Gold 2025. These are the scenes earlier today as the 25 teams assembled ahead of this challenge. 175 riders in total. Plenty of attention, as you might expect, around the UAE bus, with Tadej Pogačar coming to see could he repeat his success of a couple of years ago. Michael Matthews loves this race, and his wife here, and he's always thereabouts in the finale. I wonder if he can come up with a big result. And Thibaut Nys heading into the Ardennes week with big prospects, but his fellow countryman Remco Evenepoel back with a bang with a wonderful success on Friday. Wout van Aert vanquished on that occasion, and Tom Pidcock also left floundering somewhat in the finale. And as you might expect, plenty of fans from just over the border in Belgium looking forward to Remco Evenepoel, resplendent in the gold Specialized S-Works bike, and of course that's nicely liveried bit of styrofoam atop his crown. Is it a crown? Will he be crowned today? That's what we have in prospect today. Well, it's 256 kilometers of winding, sinuous roads in and around the Limburg province. Around Valkenburg in the southeastern region of Limburg. 34 climbs in total, the first of them coming within 12 kilometers of the traditional start in Maastricht. And many riders will be feeling it by the time they get to the Gulperberg with 47 kilometers to go, with 9 difficult climbs still in prospect at that moment. The third and final assault on the Cowberg comes with just over 3 kilometers remaining. And how big will the lead group be by the time the first rider crests the rise with 2 kilometers to the line to go? But the conditions absolutely perfect for the riders today, and it's a familiar route, albeit one that's difficult to learn. What everyone has learned, though, over the years, and this is the 65th edition of Amstel Gold, is that this event always delivers a worthy winner. Here you have the first side of the breakaway and the first side of the Cowberg as the riders make their way up and head towards the finish line for the first appearance. All 800 meters of it. What an iconic venue it is in the history of cycling. It's played host to the World Championship, of course, on numerous occasions, and indeed up until about 9 years ago it was a regular feature at the conclusion of Amstel Gold. Tadej Pogačar going for another one today. Can you attack him early, or is it a case of just waiting and waiting and waiting and keeping your powder as dry as possible and making sure that you're present when that huge injection of pace comes, making the turn some way after the rest? So maybe a day without, and we'll give him a pass on that one because he is only a second comeback race. But for Julian Alaphilippe, wants to be involved here, wants to try and cause something special. He's on the comeback trail of sorts for himself, and Julian Alaphilippe is reliving old glories here as he's causing a split. And who's he bringing with him? None other than the world champion Tadej Pogačar, who's a bit of a nodding dog here. So that was quite the injection of pace by Julian Alaphilippe. The only rider capable of following was Pogačar. How many times can Julian Alaphilippe do that? A little bit of grimace from the Frenchman, a little bit of a flick of the elbow as if to say, come and give me a hand, let's go racing. The race is the very balance here. I feel if they don't get this back really quickly, there's absolutely no chance of challenging Tadej Pogačar and Julian Alaphilippe today. And indeed, Pogačar won't be afraid of going with Alaphilippe, given Alaphilippe's difficulties. Well, Evenepoel's still there, but he was certainly marked absent into the last climb. Surprisingly so, but, well, as I say, it is only his second race back. And Alaphilippe's got to be in trouble here because indeed he has been distanced. Well, after drawing Tadej Pogačar out of the fold, he's not able to follow. So for the Tudor Pro cycling squad, panic behind, because that was one shot for glory for Julian Alaphilippe, and all it's left and all it's created really is a springboard attack for Tadej Pogačar. So Julian Alaphilippe isolated and not able to follow on the very next climb after the one where he created the breakaway attempt. Frustration really for France, frustration for Tudor Pro Cycling. I suspect a little bit of frustration for some of the other teams in there. And here we go. We settle into one against many, and the one will often have more power than the collective strength of the rest behind, as Alaphilippe is overhauled. But are they going to be able to fix this problem? Skjelmose and Healy. So what has Remco Evenepoel got in terms of closing the gap here? A couple of seconds gain. Pidcock there or thereabouts. Skjelmose and the rest all starting to pull faces a little bit. Healy stays in the saddle, but doesn't look like he's enjoying it much. I don't think anyone is in here. They're making a gain, but are they making enough of a gain? And they reach the top. There has been a gain, so that's got to give them a little bit of encouragement. And time to step on the gas and go again from Skjelmose. Will he see anyone else? And can he potentially race across solo? Well, that would be an amazing escapade and a wonderful achievement. Well, was that the way to do it? Well, there can be nothing held back at this moment. Ben Healy sees that he's got to respond, and Thibaut Nace not about to assist. The Danish star Mattias Skjelmose launching over the top of that climb. Tom Pidcock says, you know what, I don't think so. I need a moment to gather my thoughts and my lungs and my legs here. He's gone again. Evenepoel, this time, no one is able to go with him, and he potentially will can make his way across to Skjelmose quite quickly, and that could be useful. Now listen to that for a cheer as the stopwatch runs. And Skjelmose has a little anxious look over his shoulder, but he'd see that there's not entire total cooperation. They have it down. Look at this. It's down to 13 seconds. This is on. It's down to 13 seconds, but it's not beyond the bounds of possibility that Remco Evenepoel and Mattias Skjelmose can get back involved at the front of this race. Have it down to 12 seconds. It's tantalizing, and it's still a huge source of motivation for these riders as they can stalk their quarry and see him. And that's an anxious moment indeed for Tadej Pogačar. Little look over the shoulders. Was that a little nonchalant, I've got this one covered kind of look, or is that an anxious, I'm starting to feel a little bit drained here. I'm starting to feel a bit knocked. Is there a possibility that the legs are emptying here, because we're down to 9 seconds and he hasn't gained on the climb to this point? We get into the barrier section of this climb, and the Bemelerberg is almost at a top, and would you believe it? Well, it's not difficult to believe, is it? Because Ben Healy's gone on the attack once more. Bara's on a great day today, so he's managing to hang on with the Irishman, but EF Education Easy Post racing for third here, you feel. Yeah, this is it. They're on, and would you believe it? 8K to go, and we've got a three-way fight for glory here in Amstel Gold. What a terrific addition. He's got to try and roll him, is he? No, he's continuing to ride through and just make it difficult for Tadej Pogačar, and that absolutely was a full-blooded attack, and I'm not sure the value of that, but Pogačar's not quite there. Pogačar, well, he's got a few bike lengths to make up, but he has got the advantage of the gradient here and the greater aerodynamic benefit that accrues when the riders are going faster. And now they'll gather their thoughts. They've got almost a minute's advantage on Group 2 on the road. Mattias Skjelmose is in here for the win as well. A famous victory that would be. And it's Remco Evenepoel that is going to have the pleasure of leading the riders onto the Cowberg at the last time of asking. Listen to this. Well, who's going to be brave enough to go for it? Remco Evenepoel, I think he'll trust his sprint here, despite the fact that he's going up against a rider of the sprinting caliber of Tadej Pogačar. I don't think either Pogačar or Skjelmose are going to cop a penalty for that. They'll be hard won and hard fought over mementos, I think, from the crowd. Three-way fight for glory inside 2K to go. The gap down to 37 seconds. Skjelmose is probably potentially getting the most anxious, and he's happy enough to cruise through. And no, I'm not coming off your wheel again until the final 200 meters. It might be the suggestion there from Tadej Pogačar. Went into a three-way fight for glory, remember, in Milan-San Remo against Mathieu van der Poel and Filippo Ganna. And it turned into a slightly messy one for Tadej Pogačar. Healy, and they are swapping places all over the places. It's Ben Healy on the front with Tish Benoit. Still Barry there, thereabouts. Quite the scrap amongst those riders to get back on terms, and Evenepoel's got the heat on the back of his neck. He's got the world champion, gunning to become the first man to win in Arc-en-Ciel stripes since Michał Kwiatkowski in 2015. It's going to be a three-way sprint. No late attacks here. Who's going to fire first? A relatively early sprint on Friday produced dividends, albeit it's probably about 250 to go against a very tired Wout van Aert on that occasion. Is it a very tired Tadej Pogačar who will be vanquished here? Will it be Skjelmose? Or will it be Remco Evenepoel leading them out here? And it's Evenepoel who senses that they're about to go, and he's been tempted into going for a long one here. And Evenepoel is leading out, and here comes Tadej Pogačar trying to come off his wheel. Will he have the strength to prevail? It's a long run to the line from here. Remco Evenepoel has got it, I think. Oh, look at this! Blanket finish! Who's going to get it? He throws it back at the line, and well, I tell you what, they're going to the photograph, not for the first time in Amstel Gold. Skjelmose thinks he might have won it, and he's been congratulated by Tadej Pogačar, because it is the little Trekman, Mattias Skjelmose, that has taken the glory, surprised everyone. And what about that for an absolute cracker? It's a first victory for Denmark since 2018, behind the sprint for the minor places, and it's Michael Matthews a little bit out of sprint here, and would you believe it, Wout van Aert has got the best sprint potentially of the group behind. So who got their one for fourth? I think it might have been Wout van Aert, but nonetheless, it has been an absolute stormer of a race today. Well, look at that, another one that goes to the photo. And given that it's Amstel Gold, I think no one will be making an assumption. But the little Trekman, I think there can be few doubts about that one. It's confirmed. Joy unbound. Nice confirmation of the finishing order. Mattias Skjelmose can hardly believe it, but he's got up and over Tadej Pogačar and Remco Evenepoel to take the glory in Amstel Gold 2025. Wout van Aert, Michael Matthews, Bardet, Gregoire Benoit, Pidcock, Ben Healy all played a massive role in a hugely entertaining edition of Amstel Gold. It's been absolutely terrific, and Skjelmose now, well, that's it. It's been a terrific edition of Amstel Gold. I've had a great time being with you. My name is Declan Quigley. Thanks for being with us throughout Amstel Gold 2025. But from all of us here, it's goodbye.